Raishon, and I'm on the line with Zoë Flowers of Soul Requirements. How are you doing, Zoë?
I'm doing well. How are you, Kori?
I am fantastic. Okay, Zoë, if you were to describe yourself, how would you do that?
If I had to describe myself, I would definitely describe myself as a person that had many interests, as a, human being, right? Being in the process of living. I am an artist. I am a healer. I'm a person that does healing work. And I am a person that works on social change and works toward the greater good of other people. But I think, the person who I am, what I am at my core, is an artist. So, I work at a couple of different organizations. One organization is the Women of Color Network, and the Women of Color Network is a grassroots organization that works to foster the leadership of women of color who are working in the domestic and sexual violence field. We also have specific projects and programs that work to ensure the safety and security of survivors of color. So that's sort of one facet of the work that I do. And I've been working with Joyful Heart now for, I guess this is the third year. I worked for them, like I said, for a year, full-time, and I've been consulting with them for the past 2 years.
So, and the reason why I kind of wanted to start with the social change, because me knowing you a little bit, I mean that with an LOL at the end, it seems like you have a core element, one, of this healer. So I'm going to ask you about your arts. What type of art do you perform, create, or work within?
Sure. So I am a poet. I'm actually working on my first poetry book now called Directions for the Brave, God, Sex, War, and the Girl. I am a playwright. I currently have a play that's out called From Ashes to Angel's Dust, A Journey Through Womanhood, and I'm working on another play about race. In the process of writing that with a co-writer right now. And I also paint a little bit and have dabbled in writing my first song, again with a co-writer. So I kind of dabble in everything. I also act.
So it seems like your theme is working with women and healing women. Would I be correct in saying that?
Well, not intentionally. I think that's just who shows up for the healing. I will work with, and I don't have a preference. I work with whoever shows up. It just so happens that the folks that but that's not just so happens. I mean, it's because statistically women are the ones that are suffering domestic and sexual violence at higher rates and at more sort of serious rates than men. So that's who I tend to see more. But I never set out to say I only want to work with women. I've never actually said that. In fact, in my prevention work, with my domestic violence work, I worked on primary prevention for many years, and primary prevention is all about engaging men in the work to end domestic violence. So I work very closely with organizations like A Call to Men, who their work is all about expanding issues of masculinity and really, working with men to get into the domestic violence movement.
You're into Reiki, I do know. But what other elements of healing do you work in, for lack of a better way of saying that or asking that question?
Sure. So, I separate healer, artist, consultant, but really the healing is woven through everything I do. My art is dedicated to healing. Obviously, my professional work is dedicated to healing. And so the spiritual work is just another sort of deeper, newer way that my healing work is manifesting itself. So specifically, I do Reiki. I do tarot and tarot card and intuitive readings for people. I make Reiki-infused essential oils and foot butters, like foot creams and things like that for people. I make spiritual baths for people on request.
How long have you been healing? When did you discover your gifts?
I've been healing for a really long time. I mean, as a child, I was advising people probably at like 10, having conversations with adults about how they need to love themselves first, and just these crazy conversations and these crazy things that would come out of my mouth, and adults would, look at me like, okay, you've been here before. They used to tell me that all the time, you've been here before, because that what's coming out of your mouth is not what comes out of, everyday 10-year-olds.
Black Witch Chronicles. You are a part of that. And how did you get introduced to Black Witch Chronicles?
Yeah, so, it's really funny. I got introduced to Black Witch Chronicles through Dr. G. She and I met just last year, which is crazy to me. And we just met in January, and it feels like we've known each other forever. But Dr. G invited me to be on a show last September, I believe it was. She asked me to be a guest on the show, and so I was a guest on the show, and then I read a poem at the end of the show, and then Keisha, one of the other Black witches, was like, I think you need to be on the show from now on. You want to be on the show?
Oh, wow.
And I was like, sure, I don't know what's really involved, but okay, I guess. So that's how it happened. Like, I started out as a guest and wound up being a witch.
When you were introduced, like, what were your thoughts? Did you see the show prior to it all?
No, absolutely no. G was just like, we have this show, we talk a lot of mess, we have fun, we talk spiritual stuff too, we laugh, we curse, and I was like, oh, that sounds like my kind of show, okay. And she was like, she was like, we talk politics, we talk spirituality, and we just say what we feel. And that's why I never researched it or anything. I just was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And that was that.
That was that. Where would you like to see it go, Black Witch Chronicles? Like, your vision of your role and the overall mission or vision, I guess would be the better word, for Black Witch Chronicles.
Yeah. Well, we're just such a talented group of women, if I say so myself. I would definitely like to see more shows, whether it's at some point we have our own show. I definitely see us writing a book together, writing a CD or making a CD. Those are, for me, my main things that I would like to see. I know the other witches are interested in touring and doing those kind of things, and I'm happy to do that as well. But I think for me, the TV show, or it probably won't even be TV, maybe it'll be a web series. I don't know what it's going to be, but just our reach growing more. Mm-hmm. People are already, emailing us, asking us for guidance. I would love for that to continue. And for us to just, continue to spread the message of healing and of taking care of ourselves as women of color and of loving ourselves and having fun and, just for us to really have a broad reach.
Where can people find Zoë Flowers?
So you can find me so many places. You can find me on my new website, which is soulrequirements.org. You can find me on Instagram. I am Zoë Flowers. You can find me on Twitter, Divine by Design. You can find me on Facebook through Soul Requirements. Is that it? Oh, and I'm on LinkedIn under Zoe F. So I'm all over the internet.
All right. Well, we want to thank you. We're going to look out for you on Black Witch Chronicles as well. And ask people to, they tune in, every full moon, right? Is that correct?
Yes. Look out for Black Witch Chronicles. You'll find us. You can tune in every full moon. And, you can also be a part of the show. So you can, as the show is happening, you can email us and we'll answer your questions. So, yes, please follow our Facebook page. We also have a Twitter page, so check us out.
Sounds good. I thank you.
Thank you, Kori. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.